stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Blash.
Here.
Bunton.
Here.
Campbell.
Here.
Dempsey.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Menser.
Here.
Raker.
Here.
Okay, announcements, acknowledgements, communications, and reports. This evening, we have a presentation of a proclamation for Ed Morissette. And Ed, if you would come to the mic, please. We're not going to make you sing or anything like that. Come on up. You can hug, okay, sure. I did drugs. Okay, this proclamation. Whereas the city of Mount Clemens pays tribute to the many individuals and organizations and activities throughout the year, and whereas Ed Morissette, a longtime resident and retired city employee, has served both in his capacity as a police officer as well as a resident on the Mount Clemens Traffic Safety Committee since its inception in 1966. Wow. And whereas Mr. Morissette served as a traffic safety officer when the position was created in 1966 and was assigned full-time traffic safety duties in 1967, where he wholeheartedly accepted his position for the well-being of all citizens and was once quoted in the newspaper as saying, "One accident indicates that something should be done." And whereas Mr. Morissette is well-liked and respected by his fellow committee members who are here this evening, and his years of knowledge and experience will truly be missed. And whereas the city wishes to publicly recognize the dedicated years of public service Mr. Morissette has achieved, nearly 27 years as a member of the Mount Clemens Police Department, where he retired as a lieutenant in 1978. The years that he spent as head of the Traffic Safety Bureau and the time he spent as a resident serving as a committee member of the Traffic Safety Committee, some of those years as chairperson. And whereas the city of Mount Clemens owes Mr. Morissette a sincere debt of gratitude for his faithful years of service, where now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, Bart Dempsey, Mayor of the City of Mount Clemens, on behalf of the City Commission, the members of the Mount Clemens Traffic Safety Committee, and all our citizens, present this proclamation to Ed Morissette to convey to you our sincere thanks and appreciation for the years of service and concern for the safety and the well-being of our city, its residents, and all citizens traveling through the city of Mount Clemens. Be it further resolved, we extend to you our best wishes for good health, fulfillment, and every happiness in the future. Congratulations.
I'd just like to say it's been a fantastic ride. I've enjoyed every minute of my involvement with the city. I've taken a lot of good memories. I ruffled a few feathers along the way. Maybe made a few friends along the way. I am very, very grateful to this city for the opportunities that it gave me to do the things that I love to do. Thank you very, very much for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other members of the Traffic Safety Committee here this evening. Thank you for coming and supporting Ed. I know he'll be truly missed. Do we have any other? Do you have any? Okay, none. Adoption of the agenda.
Mayor, I need to amend the agenda and remove item 10A and make it 9B and move to approve as amended.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Roll call.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Raker.
Yes.
Blash.
Yes.
Okay, public participation. This is the time you may address this body. All we ask is that you give us your name, residential address, and that you adhere to our 3-minute rule.
Mickey Weiss, 18200 Terra Drive, Clinton Township. I'm here tonight to offer a public service announcement for the Macomb County Historic Society, which I am on the board as well as Barb. And I would like to let you know of a few events that are going to be coming up. On Sunday, March 1st at 1 p.m., the Crocker House Museum will have a Simply Dickens 1860s musical review tea. You can enjoy a full afternoon of tea while listening to the music of the 1860s. Tickets are limited, and they are $35 for members and $40 for non-members, and that includes your tea as well with your meal. The reservation number is 586-465-2488. Also like to remind everyone that the annual Yvonne Leslie Pottery Luncheon will be coming up on March 28th at 11 a.m. at Zuccaro's. Tickets are available, and also tables are available to dress if you're interested. It's a lot of fun. It's a wonderful afternoon. For further information, please call 586-465-4918. On Saturday, April 18th at noon, we will be having a Fashion of Yesteryears with Jenny Curtolo. She has one of the largest collections of vintage clothing in probably the region, if you will. Tickets are available, and they are $35 for Macomb County Historic Society members and $40 for non-members. This will be a fundraiser for the Crocker House. The Fellowship Hall for First Presbyterian Church. I always want to make it a Catholic church for some reason. First Presbyterian Church on 168 Cass Avenue. Walk down memory lane with Jenny Curtolo as she presents fashion spanning 100 years, beginning from the 1880s to 1980s. The show is a scrapbook of fashions from the female ancestors of our community. I have modeled for Jenny many times, and she has a lot of wonderful historic clothing from a lot of our community residents, I guess you might say. So please try to go to these events. Again, for the fashion show, the phone number is 586-465-2488. And when you get a chance, if you've never been, please go to the Crocker Museum. It's a gem in our community, and it's open for the public and schools and so on. If you know anyone, please call and take them there. It's really something to be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Ruthie Stevenson, 69 Bain, speaking for Mary Ann Bullock at 79 Robertson concerning the property at
95 inches.
Yeah, 95 inches. Just making sure you don't forget. She's getting to be a nervous Nelly. What's happening? What's happening? Nobody's calling me or whatever. And I understand it takes some time, but hopefully we can get this done in a timely manner so as not to put any undue stress on her as well as everybody else that is involved. And I thank you for all that you're doing to make this happen. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. David Schnurr, 80 Maross, Mount Clemens. I took a moment to jot this down so that I would efficiently use your valuable time. I was encouraged that the mayor chose to relax the 3-minute time limit for the public participation portion of the meeting last time. I have a lot of ground to cover, so I probably will exceed my time limit as well. Of course, I'm being facetious. I know better than to expect any such consideration. However, I have to say that I never expected for the mayor to make my point of this policy of selectively enforcing the city's rules and the precedent that is set once you do so. Where is the challenge in that is, I guess, my joke. But I digress. Back to the issue at hand, the selective enforcement of our ordinances. Let me attempt once more to clarify my point. It has never been my point that I am insisting on creating the same level of petty, bigoted, futile enforcement that I have experienced, but rather, just as is common practice in zoning enforcement, once a variance is allowed, such as the Hills property example, to the city's ordinances, and that variance exists and the resulting precedent is set in the community, makes it very difficult to ethically refuse someone permission without discriminating against that person. To those who want to do a similar project activity, they see this on a regular basis. The 6-car garage in the adjoining non-conforming residence that was allowed to be built on the corner of Ludwig and Church is a very good example. Now that that property exists, it would be very difficult to ethically refuse someone permission who comes forward in the future to build a similar project or structure. Of course, from a practical standpoint, this is easily overcome in our city by creating this 4-square-mile ethical-free zone through the practice of ethics by the consensus of the unethical. The history of this speaks for itself. Mrs. Hill's example only serves as the most glaring current example. In any other major city, she would have been asked to resign when she was first caught filing her false homestead exemption at the beginning of her political career, not to mention the issue at hand. Yet here she is to this day defending the indefensible with the full support of the mayor and many of you. The sheer serendipity of the availability of the Hills property example and the remarkable similarities of the two properties and their owners' interests, mine and theirs, is just as significant as the low bar it sets for ordinance enforcement. Both were purchased within 6 months of each other. Both owners participate in the classic car hobby. Both required extensive restoration when acquired. Both currently have a tarp covering the rear portion of the structure, just to name a few. So the question stands, why with all of these similarities, of course you addressed that at the last meeting, why with all these similarities do we have two radically different outcomes? The bottom line, the bottom line is that regardless of this political threats made to me by the mayor at the last meeting by members of the commission, I am entitled by the Constitution to an ethical government, and the notion that some level of discrimination in the enforcement of the laws and rules has to be tolerated due to superficial defenses has no basis in fact. And further, the repeated dismissal of this request as some sort of idealistic eccentricity on my part is deeply offensive to me and everyone loyal to the Constitution, specifically the rights offered and guaranteed by the 14th Amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. There were no administrative responses to issues raised at the last meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
On that point, we do have two things that do need to be addressed, and I'm assuming that because the administration is not here, they're not being addressed, but the fact that Mr. Schnur did bring up a point, and also if we can get an update in regards to 95 inches as well, for the record, next week or 2 weeks, if we can make sure.
I'm sure the
we have
city
that.
manager will be more than happy to update you. Approve of the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
Roll call.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Raker.
Yes.
Blash.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Okay, general business, 9A, approval of purchase and payments of invoices.
Move to approve the purchase and payments of invoices.
Support.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Raker.
Yes.
Blash.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
9B is 10A, appointments to boards and committees.
Move to approve the appointments to boards and committees as presented.
Second.
Okay.
It was brought to my attention today that another application was turned in for the planning committee. Do we only have one opening on the planning committee?
Yes, at this time we do.
Then I would like to offer a motion that until the application that was turned in today is reviewed, that we table this 9B for 2 weeks.
I can support that.
I would probably be the one reviewing it, and I have it, and it came in today. And I will tell you that my appointment again will be what is on there tonight. So, you want to delay it for 2 weeks, it's coming back this way.
I'd still like to delay it for 2 weeks.
We'll vote on the motion.
Okay, let's vote on the motion to delay
He's
this.
got a hand up.
This, I want to point this out, that this is the fundamental flaw with this process, is that here we have the opportunity to review, the mayor gets to pick an applicant, but we should be able to have the chance to review all the applicants, and based on that review, taking into consideration with the mayor's recommendation, all the information should be put out there. In fact, I think all the information should be put out there for the public's consumption. I think these applications should be part of this board packet online. That we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I think we're moving in that direction, hopefully. Sooner or later it will happen, I'm confident. But I think there should be a review and taking into consideration the two applicants that you now have. On this whole point too, since maybe both of them are going to get voted up or down, I support both of these people for both of these opportunities they're seeking. I have a fundamental issue with the reappointment process because it's not a process. We're just tagging someone, hey, you get this opportunity again. The Community Tree Advisory Committee, it is on the list on the website. However, it's not on the list of meetings to have for 2015. Having appointments, just reappointing people for the sake of, it should, I firmly believe, people get the opportunity based on their experience, they're going to have a leg up, but I think that the reappointment process, there has to be a process for consideration. I know fundamentally most of you don't agree with me. This is the drum I beat on a regular basis. Either you hear me or you don't, that's fine. I'm just making my comments for the record.
And just for the record, so everybody knows, I have been following the same rules as every other mayor before me. Many years. This wasn't my way of doing it. This is the way it's been done. And this is the way I have been following. So I haven't made up my own rules on this. And
You have the
I will
ability to
continue
make, to be more transparent and be more inclusive.
We're
of the
transparent.
Of the information and of the process.
There's a motion on the floor to delay the appointments for 2 weeks. Please call roll.
Hill.
No.
Menser.
Yes.
Raker.
Yes.
Blash.
No.
Bunton.
No.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
No.
Motion fails 4-3.
Okay. Now we'll call the roll for the appointments as presented.
Ron has a question.
Was there time limits on these to put applications in?
They have been open for probably 6 months.
I mean, but I just didn't know if there was deadlines or.
Well, the tree commission, I think, has not met in a while until we get the reappointment. Planning commission has been meeting because it's only one position. And I will be bringing more because there are other committees like the historical commission that has not met, and I have received some applications from, I think, the journal that went out. We were requesting. Most of these positions have been open for quite a while. So I need a motion, first of all.
You already have a motion that I made
Oh,
originally.
I'm sorry. Recall? Okay.
Calling the vote.
Okay.
Men's-
Recalling the vote.
Menser.
No.
Raker.
Begrudgingly, yes.
Blash.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Roll call.
Raker.
Yes.
Blash.
Yes.
Bunton.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Okay, city manager's report, and I'm just going to highlight it. We will be having some upcoming projects this year, 2015. One will be the Crocker Street paving, which will be from northbound Gratiot to Harper. Construction should start around May 2015, and final completion should be August 2015. Market Street paving will be from northbound Gratiot to North Avenue. Hopefully that will start construction July of 2015, and the final should end by September 2015. Are there any questions?
There are no special assessments connected?
No,
with
no
these
special
paving projects?
assessments. They're both, one is a TIP fund and one is the PRIP fund. So there's no special assessments.
Is there a possibility of getting some other streets covered under some of these funding mechanisms?
Probably not this year on those two. They'd have to apply again, you know, for the following year. I think they were both, one is the Transportation Improvement Program, one's the Priority Road Improvement Program, which I think you apply each year. And, am I correct? I mean, Jeff's not here, but I would imagine that that's...
Yeah, the first one, the PRIP, is a federal program,
Okay.
and then the TIP is just part of the SEMCOG and MDOT's rolling transportation improvement program that we submit projects to.
Through, and we hope they get selected. Anything else that I think it's all in front of you. Okay, Commissioner comments. Commissioner Campbell.
Two things. I've had a couple people, well, one I ran into in Myers, the other called me. I can bring your concerns here, but it makes it more credible if you have a concern or an interest that you want addressed. Please come to the meeting and let the entire commission here know what your concern is. And the last is regarding the snow issues from the cars that were left on the street. I would like to know if we're going to be able to talk about that or have that addressed at the next meeting. Thank you.
Commissioner Hill.
Well, I hadn't planned to say this, but I'm going to once again address what Mr. Schnur has said. He repeatedly tries to make our two situations the same. They are not the same. There has been a lot more progress on my house than there has been on his. If people did not want me on the city commission, they did not have to vote for me. In the first two times I ran, I was the top vote getter in both elections. And the last time I ran as a write-in candidate, and 300 people wrote in my name. So I think that speaks for the fact that, you know, if people did not want me here, they didn't have to elect me. Anyway, I will move on to another topic. Last week I participated in two events that I think are worth mentioning. The first was a program presented at the Mount Clemens Public Library by John Emerson on when and why African Americans came to Macomb County. One of the things I learned from this presentation is that a significant number of African Americans came to Macomb County because farmland was available. Many African Americans also came because of terrible treatment in the South. I really appreciate the research Mr. Emerson has done and his willingness to share. Second was the Real Talk Dialogue Day presented by the Mount Clemens Coalition for Youth and Families held at Mount Clemens High School. The purpose of this event was for adults from the community to listen to middle school and high school students share their problems and concerns and to have meaningful dialogue with them. Commissioner Bunton is the chairperson for the coalition. I'm sure he's going to talk about this event also. And Mayor Dempsey and I are two of the committee members. This was the first of what we hope will be an annual event, and I think it was a great day. I heard young people express some very profound, heartbreaking, and inspiring comments. I want to say a big thank you to all the students and the community leaders who participated. I hope they all found it as meaningful as I did. February is African American History Month, The reason for this designation is that many accomplishments of African Americans are not recorded in the history books. So in honor of this month, I would like to highlight just a few important inventions that African Americans have made. Alexander Miles invented automatic elevator doors, dramatically improving passenger safety. Garrett Morgan invented the traffic signal. You people in the Traffic Safety Committee should be interested in that. And he also invented the safety hood, which led to the use of gas masks. Frederick McKinley Jones invented refrigeration for long-haul transportation used in trucks and boxcars. And that's one reason why we have food from all over the country. Jan Metzeliger, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, anyway, invented what is called a shoe lasting machine, making it possible to manufacture 150 to 700 pairs of shoes per day. And this made shoes much more affordable. Charles Drew developed the process of separating red blood cells from plasma, allowing blood to be stored longer to be used for blood transfusions. Elijah McCoy developed an automatic lubricator that spread oil evenly over a train's engine while it was still moving. This allowed trains to run for long periods of time without stopping. As this invention grew in popularity, inferior copycats emerged, which resulted in railway engineers requesting the real McCoy. These are just a few inventions by African Americans. For more inventions by African Americans, you can Google African American inventions, and you will discover many more fascinating people and inventions. I have to give Ruthie Stevenson credit for suggesting I go to Google when we were talking last week. So thank you, Ruthie. And everybody have a good evening, a great week, and be safe out there and stay warm.
Commissioner Raker.
Well, we can take the teacher out of the classroom, but not the classroom out of the teacher. So I appreciate all those insightful tidbits of knowledge. I want to congratulate Mr. Morissette for your recognition. Obviously, a lifelong commitment to safety and to the citizens of Mount Clemens. Thank you. And thank you to all your colleagues that came out and supported you too. I think this is the first time I've witnessed this much of a holistic group come and support one of their peers being recognized. I think it's fantastic. Thank you all. This crossed my mind as far as we've been kicking around the strategic planning. Eventually, someday we'll get to it, when all of our schedules deconflict. I'd like, even though the administration is not here, some of the members of the administration, it's my desire to have them participate in the strategic planning and for them to also think about what it is they want and need, so that we can take that into consideration when we have these strategic planning discussions. So I want it to be as inclusive and robust as possible. And on that note, in the past, when we've had the absence of the city manager, a department head stood in. I think that is a fantastic opportunity for department heads to get some experience as the central administrator. It's temporary, but it's good training, good exposure, and a good opportunity for them to get a little bit more knowledge and experience outside their regular area of responsibility. I should have brought that up in the course of our city manager search. We have a form of government that is a city manager form of government with a weak mayor. We have the dichotomy of elected officials and public administrators, and I don't think that we should continue having an elected official sit in the position when we can have a department head stand in and execute the responsibilities of the administration. I find it interesting that we had the sheriff here this evening through public comment. I think it wasn't necessary, and from my perspective, I think that it would be better serving the public if they were out on patrol as opposed to being here monitoring public comment. And with that, I will end it. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Menzer.
The first thing I'd like to do is give a shout out to Tyra Hill, an 8th grader from the Mount Clemens Middle School who won the spelling bee at her school and participated this weekend in the Macomb Daily Regional Spelling Bee. Thanks for your work, your hard work, and thanks for representing your school so well. And also Aaron Shaw, he's a 5th grader from the Mount Clemens Montessori Academy. He also won the spelling bee at the academy and was a participant over the weekend. Neither one won, but we appreciate their hard work and efforts. You know, I wasn't going to weigh in on this issue, but I was approached actually in Myers. The Myers is a font on Groesbeck there of community relations. And so I had some thoughts about what this resident brought up. And what I see is that we were elected here to be leaders in our community. Our residents voted for us because they believed that we could make decisions to improve the city, the infrastructure, its amenities, attract new businesses and new residents, increase the tax base, and indirectly improve the lives of all residents. We accepted and embraced these responsibilities when we ran for office. As leaders, we should be held to a higher standard, not equal, because we are expected to lead. We lead by the examples that we set. So it is our responsibility to set the best example possible with our conduct, with our words, our deeds, and the outreach to our residents. We cannot have blight conditions at our homes and yet penalize residents for blight at their homes. I often disagree with the opinions of residents. There is so much misinformation in our city, so many rumors and gossip that actually has no basis in fact. But in our leadership positions, it is our responsibility to listen to our residents, even when we don't agree, and to clarify those issues when we can. Yes, residents have humiliated, embarrassed, chastised members of this board and been completely incorrect about the issue they're talking about. But it is not well done of us as leaders to publicly humiliate a resident by talking about their financial position in front of others. I recently read a murder thriller novel about a politician that was targeted for death by his own political party. One of his campaign slogans in this book was, "Everybody must count, or nobody counts." I believe that we should embrace this idea. The poorest of our residents must matter to us with the same sense of importance as the richest. They must be treated the same, and their opinions should matter equally. Will residents continue to humiliate, embarrass, and chastise members of this board and continue to be completely incorrect about the issues? Yes. But we lead by the examples that we set. Everybody must count, or nobody counts. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Button.
Very good.
Okay, this is a Macomb County Community Service Agency public service announcement. Macomb County Office of Senior Services provides chore services, home maintenance, and minor repairs for seniors 60 years and older. You must be a Macomb County resident, and you have to fit an income eligibility form. Services include snow removal, which would be very handy this time of the year. Also, grass cutting, odd jobs like minor plumbing and electrical work, changing storm windows and screens, installing plastic window insulation, installing smoke alarms, changing furnace filters, and replacing locks. For more information and eligibility guidelines, please call 586-469-5228. This service could be a great help to someone you know. And another thing about the snow, Please remove the snow from the walkway in front of your house. This is a plea that's been offered even in the past, but please do not push it into the street, because if you have a street that's already shoveled and cleaned and you're driving along at a reasonable rate of speed for that, when you come upon a slick spot where somebody's pushed their snow into the street, you create a traffic hazard, and I think that should be looked at as a thing that should not be done. I just, appeal to you personally. Don't push the snow in the street. Pile it on the sides, yes, but don't push it into the streets. I want to offer congratulations to the Mount Clemens Community School System and the Mount Clemens Community Coalition for Youth and Families for a very successful first ever Real Talk Community Student Dialogue Day, which was held at this past Thursday, February 12th, at Mount Clemens High School. This event brought business owners, clergy, politicians, social service agencies, school staff, and students together for a frank and open conversation about what would make Mount Clemens a better place to live and to learn. We all look forward to the next step in this process, and we thank all who participated. As you see, I am wearing red. Can't miss that, I guess. That is in honor of the National Heart Health Month. We want everyone to take good stock of their heart, go to the doctor, get yourself checked out, make sure your hearts are healthy. Especially this time of the year when you're out having to shovel snow or do some outdoor activities in the cold. Your heart has to be healthy. Would like to talk a little bit about the Black History Month. One of the facts of Black History Month is that this was originated by Carter Goodwin Woodson as Negro History Week, and this was done in 1926. And since then, of course, we've expanded it to be a Black History Month. Some of the things that I had to bring, someone already beat me to it, but that's okay. That's great. Just want to mention the first African-American heavyweight champion. Do we all know who that is? Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the first African-American heavyweight champion, and he also had a patent for a special wrench. That's little known. Madam C.J. Walker. Madam Walker was a St. Louis washwoman, washed clothes. But she turned to an entrepreneur. She invented a method to soften and smooth African-American hair. In 1905, she became America's first female millionaire. That's both races. Just a quickie, a Nigerian-born, and I'm probably going to kill this man's name, but that's okay. You can look him up. Philip Emeagwala, okay, Nigerian. Do the best I can. He invented, or he put together a computer program that was a mimic off of beehives. He was out studying nature. He looked at a beehive, and he looked at how that beehive worked together, all those little cornices of beehives. And so he said to himself, now, this would work well if we did this with a computer. So he linked, 65,000 processors together to create the fastest computer at that time. And this computer could do 3.1 billion calculations per second. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for computer. This was a great feat. This was done in 1986. So that was kind of a more modern piece of African American history. So, as Commissioner Hill said, look some of this stuff up. It's interesting. It is. All right, now for Commissioner Wisdom for the night. The one unchangeable certainty is that nothing is unchangeable nor certain. Think about that one. and have a good night.
Commissioner Blash.
Oh, I'm sorry. Question was, who was that by? John F. Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Well, I'd like to congratulate Lieutenant Morissette for being recognized this evening. My first introduction to Lieutenant Morissette was in the mid-'60s when I was a patrol boy at Wilson School, and Lieutenant Morissette was then Sergeant Morissette. He came and addressed our group and indicated to us the importance of being a patrol boy or a safety boy and what our responsibilities were. And but I still remember those days. Other than that, I just can't wait until the weather warms up. I do not like this cold.
I think we all can't. Okay, thank you. Just a few things. Commissioner Menser, I think what you said was very elegant and very well said, but I would hope that it would also extend to the commission, that there would be respect among the commissioners. And when someone does come before us, they have every right to say what they'd like to say. They criticize. Many of us have been in that situation. But one of the things that I find when somebody comes to speak to us, when they say things that aren't true, when they can stand up there and continue to go on, and we don't respond to the falsehoods, that does not show leadership on my part. I think we have every right as leaders to point out facts, because anything can be said, but many times there's not facts. And if anybody is interested, Mr. Snur, this is your list here. So if anybody would like to see that. And as for Sergeant McFadden being here this evening, he has been asked to be present by his captain at the meetings. And that is why he is here. And we have agreed that if there is nothing going on that he needs to stay the whole time, he can leave. But he has to come to the meetings. Am I correct? Yes, thank you. And that is why he left. And
We have not had a deputy here for the majority of the
he has
last
just
2
taken
years.
over.
We had a deputy before him that wasn't here.
Well, I'm sorry, but that what his captain requested. Yes, it has changed.
I think, but then maybe that's
So-
a discussion point we need to have with his captain.
Well, he is not on the road. He is here on his off time. So for you to say he's better utilized on the road is incorrect, because he is here on his off time. So, because he has been requested.
I
Okay,
think this is not
so-
time for conversation of that nature. I think we should
I
let
am
the mayor
just-
have her words and
I
be
am
done.
just, yes, thank you. I am just explaining the reason why he was here this evening. And that's it. So, thank you all for coming, and thank you for all of you coming and supporting Ed. Ed, it's been
Let's give him
a
one
great
more round
run.
of applause.
Need a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Roll call.
Flash,
Yes.
Bunton,
Yes.
Campbell, Dempsey,
Yes.
Hill, Menser,
Yes.
Raker.
Meeting adjourned.